Hey everyone, welcome back to another Battlefront 2 guide. Today we are going to do a new type of guide. Instead of it being a blaster guide or a hero guide, this one is going to be a star card guide. Now this type of guide has a lot of potential, but I need to know if you guys enjoy this, because if you do, I'll do more of them. So let me know if you guys enjoyed this by commenting down below and dropping a like. Now, let's get into the good stuff. Today we are going to be going over the Vanguard ability for the Assault class. I'll be covering all of its different variations, going in depth with each one so that you can figure out which version is the best for what situation, and most importantly, what is best for you. I'll also be giving you tips and tricks and strategies for the Vanguard ability. In the description, I'll have timestamps so you can find your way easily through this video. But I'd suggest staying for the whole video because you might learn something new. Remember, anything I mention in this video can be changed at any time. The Vanguard is the middle ability for the Assault class. The Vanguard, when activated, increases your speed and gives you a different blaster that acts and looks like a shotgun. It highly resembles the scatter gun from the first game. In fact, I even like calling it the rapid fire scatter gun. The Vanguard is able to 1 to 2 shot enemies and do around 200 to 250 hero health in one shot. This might get nerfed against heroes, but I do not know. The original variant of the Vanguard is meant for close quarter engagements. It comes extremely useful for quick situations when multiple enemies are coming your way. Don't forget, all the different variations of the Vanguard that I'll be mentioning in this video gives you an added speed boost once you activate it. The extra speed boost is very useful for when you have to catch up to enemies that are far away, simply because they had a head start. Because most of these variants are geared towards close quarter combat, you're going to need to be close to your enemy to actually defeat them. So keep the speed boost factor in mind when talking about the different variations. Let's go and see all the different variations of the Vanguard that you can craft by using crafting parts. The first Vanguard that I'll be covering is the Killstreak Vanguard. What the Killstreak does is that every time you defeat an enemy with the Killstreak Vanguard active, you get your timer duration extended. Now depending on your level of the star card, whether it would be the gray version or common version of the star card, it affects how much extra time gets added on to your timer after every kill. At max level, you can gain 55% of your timer added back on. So if you get 2 kills, that means you can refresh back to full. Which means technically, you could have your Vanguard last forever if you have constant enemies attacking you. I set up a battle scenario in the background of an extreme intensity onslaught, but the enemies are on 1 hit, which if you didn't know, it makes it super easy for you to defeat them. You can even hit them at ranges, that's how easy. And I just wanted to show this because if you have a lot of people either attacking an objective or attacking you, this will be able to hold up against a lot of enemies. Now the Recharge Vanguard acts the same way as the normal Vanguard when it comes to damage output and the bonus speed. But when you defeat an enemy, it takes all your other abilities out of cooldown instantly. This Vanguard, you could say, is a bit interesting, and it has good potential, but most people don't exactly know how to use it or even know what it is. The Recharge Vanguard, just from my observations, seems to cater to players that heavily rely on their star cards. Here's why. If you have a thermal detonator, you can chuck it before you activate the Recharge Vanguard. Then you can defeat an enemy with the Vanguard and you'll get another thermal detonator back instantly. Then you can repeat the process multiple times until the timer of your Vanguard runs out. Now of course this depends on your skill, and the skill of the enemies. This variation of the Vanguard has a lot of potentials, but it all depends on your situation. I'd suggest pairing it up with the thermal detonator. At least that's just what I use. The last variation that you can craft is the Slug Vanguard. Now this is a lot different compared to the other Vanguards. This variant still gives an extra speed boost, but the shots it fires is completely different. Instead of it being a close quarter only ability, this modifies it to have a medium to long range capability. The Slug Vanguard interchanges its reticle from the other variants to a reticle that is more well suited for longer ranged engagements. The Slug Vanguard shot does around 80 damage per shot instead of the 200 from the other variants. But in the trade-off for damage, it gives it extreme accuracy and range. This almost reminds me of the CA-87 when paired with the Focus Fire Star card from Battlefront 1. When most people see a Vanguard, they don't expect to get hit by it from a distance, which gives you the elements of surprise. This will take them extremely off guard once they get hit, but you'll first have to learn how to effectively use it. Now remember, it only does around 80 damage, so what you're going to want to do is act like a real sniper. Advanced snipers peek out their head for a brief moment, shoot off a shot, and then hide their heads or bodies out of the way so they won't get hit. That's what you're going to want to do with this Vanguard. Peek left and right, shoot off a shot, take cover, then finish the enemy off. Now that we got through that and all the different variations of the Vanguard that you can craft, we can talk about what Vanguard would be the best for you. Most people that use the Vanguard are probably aggressive players, and two of these cater to that playstyle in their own way. If you want to heavily rely on the Vanguard and you're really good at landing the shots with it, I'd suggest using the Killstreak Vanguard. Every enemy you defeat refreshes the duration, which gives you even more time to defeat enemies. For me, this feels like it's the best for absolute tough situations. For the most aggressive players that continually get themselves into horrible situations that will eventually get themselves killed. Personally, if you're not that aggressive, I don't think it's necessary to take up a slot in your hand. Instead, you should maybe use it for an upgraded star card or replacement for the scan dart. The other Vanguard that is meant to be played with somewhat aggressively is the Refresh Vanguard. As I said before, this is interesting, and if you skip this part, and I'd suggest going back to the different variations of the Vanguard earlier in this video by using the timestamps in the description. Anyways, this is definitely the most challenging, you could say, out of the three variants, because of the fact that it resets all the star cards after each elimination. You have to constantly be checking your star cards' cooldowns. This ability has a lot of potential, but for some with less experience, this might not help as much as the Killstreak Vanguard or even the regular version. I'd like to see someone hit a really good clip with this, because as I said, it has potential. To sum this up, the Recharge Vanguard is definitely an aggressive variant of the Vanguard, but to excel with it, you're going to need some experience. For anyone who wants a challenge, this is definitely the Vanguard for you. The Slug Vanguard is also a variation of the Vanguard that is going to need some practice before you really become effective on the battlefront. The Slug Vanguard, from what I've seen, is not a blaster that you're going to want attack straight into the enemy spawn with. You'll be able to try it and instantly regret it, but it's just not meant for that job. But instead, it caters towards more of the more defensive, laid-back players. You can wait for enemies to come in a 20-meter distance and then take them out in 1 to 2 shots easily. Or, if you camp an objective that you have to defend, with this, all you have to do is find a nice spot where you can see the enemies, where they have to go to claim the objective, but also a place that they can't find you, and once you're settled, you can just 1 to 2 shot them in the back. It'll be extremely easy because they'll be standing still claiming that objective for who knows how long. To sum up this variant, if you're more of a laid back type of player that likes to defend objectives, this is the variant for you. The Vanguard itself, if used by the right player, and if they choose the right variant, they can dominate the battlefront. Whether it would be in enemy spawns or defending objectives, the Vanguard will always help you out. Speaking of help, I need your help. I need to know what star card set to do a guide for next. Vote in the poll in the top right corner right now to help me out. If you have any tips for the Vanguard, feel free to drop them in the comments section to help each other out. Anyways, if you guys enjoyed or learned something, feel free to drop a like. And if you're new to the channel, subscribe for more Battlefront 2 guides such as this one. I'm Infinite Potatoes, and I'll see you on the Battlefront.